My name's Christine, and this is my Scrappy Sampler Quilt-along. May's quilt block of the month is the Lady of the Lake. Oh, this is gonna sound stupid, but I love this quilt block because when I was a kid, there was this lake we'd always go to, and there was a boat called the Lady of the Lake that would like drive by and just make these massive waves that would like hit the beach, and I thought that was super cool. So I love the Lady of the Lake quilt block. But there's a lot of fabric combinations you can go with for this quilt block, especially if you're making it scrappy, like we are doing with this quilt. On my mock-up, I used very high volume prints that have both very dark values and very bright values in each print. I balanced those with a very high volume dark valued print and a very low volume light valued print. That separated the very bright sunflower and bird prints and made this block readable, and I promise it did not work with other layouts. And some of you will probably notice, so I'll go ahead and fess up, I cut this block out wrong. I fussy cut all of these birds a 1/4 inch too small for my mock-up, so when I went to sew the whole quilt block together, it just did not work. So I ended up creating a little patch of these birds on the outside to make it work, and you can do that too. And since this is scrappy, it doesn't have to be perfect. Remember that, nothing in this quilt has to be perfect. Exactly. Flap! Love you too, dude. But I'll be using a very different color palette for the Lady of the Lake quilt block I'll be using today. You are a menace over here. Have you not been in enough videos causing havoc lately? You need to come into this one and just show everybody how much of a menace you are? Is that it? Yeah? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're such a monster. Get off my fabrics! You're such a monster. I love you, but you're a monster. You'll need a minimum of 4 fabrics, preferably 2 that are darker valued and 2 that are lighter valued. But I've been playing with the idea of using some of my scraps for the waves. I'm using 2 medium volume prints with flowers in the foreground and negative space in the background. And I'll be contrasting that with a high volume and low volume darker blue prints. Cutting out your Lady of the Lake fabrics is fairly straightforward because you'll only need 2 sizes of half square triangles. Cut your 2 largest triangles 9 3/4 inches wide. It would look really nice if you could fussy cut one of these with a fun motif, but I just didn't have the fabric selection for that. Then you'll cut 4 squares out of each fabric that are 4 by 4 inches. By alternating a directional print when you stack these squares to cut them in half for half square triangles, you will be able to make your quilt scrappier. You will need 7 light value triangles and 7 dark value triangles, so feel free to make them out of whatever fabrics you want if you want it extra scrappy. Your 2 large triangles go in one corner and the waves surround them, all facing the same direction. And you can play with alternating or flipping prints to the back side to make it even scrappier. And don't forget to take a picture to remember your layout and throw a black and white filter over the top to make sure you hit the value and the contrast you're looking for. And keep track of that corner unit to make sure you sew them all in the right order. Be careful not to stretch the bias edge of your triangles as you sew them together with a scant 1/4 inch seam allowance, which means slightly less than 1/4 inch. And using the chain sewing method where you don't clip your threads between units makes this block come together very easily. It also helps you keep everything in order when you go to press your seams. And normally they say to press to the dark side of your fabric so it won't show on the light side, but I'm pressing to the light side because I want it to show to make it even scrappier. Taking a second to clip all of your dog ears here will help reduce bulk in your seam allowance later. After you have all of your half square triangles sewn into square units, you can sew the smaller units together to make the waves. Pick a side to put the corner on. It can only go on one. You'll have a set of waves with 4 squares and a set of waves with 3 squares. Take the 3 set of waves and sew that to the larger square, which I think is technically called a boat in this quilt block. Then line up your corner wave when you sew that last strip of waves to the boat and 3 set of waves. All of the quilt blocks in my Scrappy sampler quilt-along square up to 12 by 12 inches square. And that's how you make a Lady of the Lake quilt block. Yeah, okay. I think bringing the... Are you doing that just slightly off camera so they can't hear you? Is that what you're doing? Are you rustling slightly off camera? Okay. I think bringing the dark blue from the boat into the waves was essential for this quilt block. And I would have liked to make this big triangle out of this darker, lighter, creamier floral, this other floral, but I didn't have enough fabric for that. So that would have been cool, but it didn't happen. Other than that, I really love this quilt block. And I think the geometric blue print really goes with the blue stripes in the lighter waves. I think that came out a lot better than I expected it to, and I'm happy with it. Y'all want to see the back, don't you? Here it is. Yay. This one came out so different than my mock-up Lady of the Lake quilt block because I used way different fabrics, but I think they both look really cool. So feel free to use whatever color combinations you want because this is a pretty versatile block as long as you can make those inside set of waves stand out. I also have to show you guys this little tunic I made last week because I've been getting sparkles everywhere with it. After realizing I didn't have enough of this red fabric to make the original shirt I wanted to out of it, I decided to do some patchwork with some black velvet and black and silver fabric. It wasn't quite long enough, so I added some lace at the bottom and hand-stitched X's around the hem and neckline. I can't explain to you guys how awesome these sleeves are. And I really love this because it's got kind of like a little witchy vibe and it's very neat and I really am having a fun time wearing it. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 patterns for this Scrappy quilt sampler done so far. So make sure you come back next month for the rest of it because I'm doing this all year. I'm going to finish my Scrappy sampler quilt along. Don't forget to like the video or leave a comment down below and I will see you all next time. Thank you so much for watching my video.